Welcome to another episode of Angels, Positivity and Love. Incredible guests from all over the world with incredible backgrounds and incredible insights. Most of them are helping others now with everything that they've learned and experienced. They've turned to a path of service to others and for others. They've had to do a lot of learning and sometimes a little bit of suffering along the way. From Gilbert, Arizona, today we have one of those amazing guests. She's already a regular on the show, technically. If you've been on for a third time, this is her third appearance. She was episode 9 in 2023, as well as episode 53 at the beginning of 2024. I'm welcoming her back for episode 130. We've gone to 3 shows a week as of the middle of 2024. So we'll have 162 shows in the stable at the end of 2024, and we're already booked into 2025. We have Michelle Clare, psychic medium, 3-time near-death experience, author by the time you see this, most likely, and much more than that. She has been on many, many shows, done many speaking engagements, been the keynote speaker here and there. I'm a huge fan of hers. She's incredibly talented. Michelle, welcome back to the show.
Hi, Michael. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here with you today.
Well, anytime we get together, I'm always excited. It's that 1 + 1 = 111 thing. You've had a lot going on last year, this year, in the real world in terms of helping people, events, stuff like that, and demand on your time. You've also just had a lot going on, as we all do, being human. Can you talk to us about what's different in the last year that you've been learning? What are some of the lessons you've been facing? And what have you taken from it that's allowing you to kind of propel forward for the next level of excitement that's ahead for you?
Yeah, well, I think we're going to need about 5 hours then for this interview because it's been packed with lessons and experiences. Boy, it's been a crazy year. It's been less than a year since my life partner transitioned from suicide. Lots of shifts going on in my life personally and professionally. So it's been a roller coaster, just like many people, are dealing with, whether it is financial, emotional, good, bad. Oh my gosh, all of it. One of the things that I've really been focused on, specifically since my life partner transitioned, was soul plans. And what does that look like? And how do we have these agreements with other souls? And when do they come into play? Are they all created before we're born? Do some of them happen spontaneously during this lifetime? And so that's really kind of been where I've been taking my own personal deep dive this year.
Does that mean you've gotten access to the file cabinet in the sky and pried it open with a crowbar and looked inside the envelopes yet, or still?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I haven't gone through all the envelopes, but I've definitely gotten through some of them.
That's good. What can you share with us about each of us are on our path, but the universe is like far bigger than we ever think it is. So like even if you get somewhere and you're like, wow, that's incredible, wait 6 months, wait 2 years, you're going to be surprised all over again. Can you give us a bit of a pep talk on that aspect of the universe?
Yeah. So, I mean, there's never a point in this lifetime where we get to where we're going. This is part of being human. Yes. Do we get to Disneyland and get to experience it? Absolutely. But you really wouldn't want to live the rest of your life in Disneyland. You'd then say, hey, now I want to go to the beach. Now I want to go to the mountains, right? So on a soul level, we are always moving forward, and very often we do accomplish our goals. For many people, if you look at where you were a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, you can literally see how far you've come, whether it's emotionally, mentally, financially, physically. Maybe you're not even in the same location. So we always have these signs around us as we're here and moving through this space and time, but the universe is always providing more unlimited opportunities for us. So what we accomplish and we're like, okay, check the box. Well, now we have 10 more things that we want to do.
Once one mission's complete, many other doors open up. I get it. Okay, what about compassion, kindness, gentleness? Is it a t-shirt you invisibly wear every day? How are you describing those 3 things?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, it would be great. We should all be wearing that t-shirt every day. It would make planet Earth a lot nicer to be here, easier to navigate. But I think, let's be real, we're all human. And there are moments where I'm frustrated. There are moments where you're frustrated. We're thinking, okay, God, I'm spiritual, but why is this not playing out the way I thought it would? Or, we have our challenges. And so I would say weave those in your day and in your life as much as you can, but don't negate the fact that your soul chose to be human here for a while. And that does include having some human experiences, because while we're going through these maybe frustrating moments in our life, our soul is learning, and we're actually learning how to grow and evolve and navigate it better for either the next time or the next experience or the next life.
Okay, and you brought up this last question, the contrast that's our daily pendulum swinging emotionally, or it's weekly, it's throughout the year, all the different events we think happen to us. Can you talk to us about how everything points to love, and love is everywhere, but we forget it all the time, and we just have to open our eyes to see love? Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, we are really always being asked to be called to being more loving while we're here, because it would make life so much easier on everyone. Even in our deepest grief or our darkest challenges, that is the lesson. It is, how do I love stronger? How do I love around the situation, over the situation, through it? Like, what does it take to get you to the point where sometimes, and not uncommonly, the answer is, how do I love myself more through this? Maybe I'm really disappointed that this didn't work out. Maybe someone did something that didn't feel great to me, but how do I love myself and that other person through it? And as we're navigating life and able to bring that in more, what we'll see is it will flow more seamlessly. I think very often we believe the lesson is always about loving others more, which is a great thing. But really, one of the biggest lessons in this life is to love ourselves.
Okay, let's plug you in two different ways. One is about your upcoming book. Guaranteed that it's out in 2025?
I hope so. I've got an agent who's going to be
Okay.
pitching it. So,
Okay, and then can you encapsulate how, I mean, it's evolving for you. You're a psychic medium, you're certified, you pick up on stuff, whether it's angels, it's their loved ones, it's all sorts of different stuff, their higher self, your higher self stepping in. Can you describe for us really quickly how you do it for folks? Do you tap in also ahead of time when you just see the name and you kind of know what's coming sometimes?
yeah, sometimes that will happen. Usually that's not me consciously trying to get in there, but it'll just be like, oh, and by the way, when you meet this person, this will be there. So really, I like to say, think of it all as radio stations or frequencies. So when you come to me, if you want a reading and you're like, hey, let's talk to the angels. Okay, we're going to channel 111, Life Guides, channel 112, Grandma 103. So we're really using our intention to guide and direct the reading for the client to get the most information for them to help them navigate their life. So for me, my job as a medium is really, it's about listening to the information that's coming through. It's not Michelle giving you her best advice, because we're in trouble. Let's go with the angels on that, right? But my job is really to listen to what your team is saying and almost translate that into English so that you can receive your message and really navigate better. And a lot of times, what I love about what I do is it gives people a sense of peace, because number one, we realize we're not living this life alone. We do have a spirit team who is wanting to support us. Our loved ones are still connected to our life. And once we find that peace within, or that feeling of support, we're able to move forward more productively.
Okay, now this is kind of like a tactical, practical, and totally irrelevant at one level question, but when you're doing a different reading, like 1,000 different readings, are there a few that get really intense? You get flustered and you know, kind of have to modulate things to get it out. It's just that big.
You know, sometimes that does come through. Sometimes there are either situations that are really, some people have had a lot of trauma in their life, right? So sometimes that might be a situation. And I will always preface it by saying, okay, you know, like, I just want to tell you what I'm hearing or what I'm feeling at this point in time. And here's the thing, it's always really received well, because I trust my angels and my guides. Any information that comes through is going to be in light and love and for this person's highest good. And so because I've already given that to my team to put the parameters in, I'm not going to get something that this person doesn't know about or can't handle.
And another one of those like just personal questions. Is there a particular type of service that when you're done, you do a high five to the sky, you jump, you twirl, you stomp your feet and go, yes, I love, this is why I do it. I love it. Or is that just kind of random, depends on the outcome with the person and the reaction?
You know, I would actually tell you, I feel that way almost after all of my readings, whether it's mediumship, angels, all of that, because it's always such a gift to be able to be of service in that way. Okay, here are the ones though that when I'm like, ooh, game on, let's go. I love it when people come to me and are like, let's talk about my past lives. Let's talk about interdimensional connections. Let's talk about, those are the ones that I get really, I'm like, oh yeah, let's do that, because that's out of the ordinary for what I usually receive. So I do get a little bit of a spark of excitement around those, but they're all such a blessing. Truly, at the end of my day, my gift is always being able to be a part of these people's lives, even if it's just for 30 minutes or an hour. It's truly a gift to me to be able to serve in that way.
Okay, first thing in the morning, what should people be doing before they go brush their teeth, before they even get out of bed?
Hit snooze. Hit snooze one more.
Best answer ever. Now, before they go to bed at night, what should they be doing?
Oh, you're going to give it to me an opposite way to see if I can get it right, huh? You know what? I always just like to give gratitude. I like to try to just bring in this beautiful, loving space of energy around me, and really know that although we don't know the whole plan to our lives, all of us are here for soul calling and a higher purpose. And we don't have to know what that looks like. So there's bringing in that light, bringing in that peace, really knowing that your angels are at work to take care of the things that you see as challenges that are coming, and they're already on it.
Speaking of snooze buttons, though, the brain's pretty good at hitting the snooze button. So you're brushing your teeth, you're like, I'm going to do what Michelle said. I'm going to give gratitude in about 1 minute. So you're lying in bed, and the brain's like, I'm really sleepy now. There's no way we're going to give gratitude. Out. You wake up on the 7th morning in a row and you're like, God, it's so hard to give gratitude the night before. So how does a person know when they're here? And how do they know when they've successfully given gratitude and check that box?
Hey, you know what it takes to successfully give gratitude? 2 words. Thank you. That's it. That's it. We don't have to overcomplicate this or make this into a 30-minute, 3-hour-long process. Literally, the universe is responding and hearing us. God, source, the divine, your angels, all of it, right? And really, what I find is just saying thank you is more than enough. The universe, how could we possibly, if we're going to talk about how do we give enough gratitude, right? How do we give enough? You can't. So thank you is more than enough.
Okay, let's talk about resistance a different way. We're all resistant at some point or another in our lifetime. It could be just, going down that career path where we're not so sure. We got to do a leap of faith. Everything's kind of a leap of faith. Let's talk about near-death experiences and how you've had 3 in a certain order. People should go back to episode 9 in March of 2023. It's a brilliant episode you gave us then. Also, January of 2024 for episode 53. Plus, you were on a panel with us, Mind, Body, Spirit panel. So while you're at it, by the way, enjoy those, comment on each one, hit that like button, and please subscribe, and then share and tell a few friends about it. They're never going to see this if you don't share it. It's very unique. Michelle took a lot of steps on air with angels, listening, doing divine work and listening. But back to those 3 experiences, can you assign percentages for allowing versus resistance? I know this is a little generic and a little tough to just generalize like this, but were you already all in on the work that you do at near-death experience number 1, and that had no impact on you embracing doing the work today, or it's the opposite?
Yeah, it's the opposite. Near-death experience number 1, it was a little bit more of a wake-up call, and then Michelle went back to playing human and was like, oh, okay, there are angels do exist. Near-death experience number 2, Michelle said, wow, that was quite an experience. And then Michelle went back to motherhood, having 3 little kids and just playing human. Near-death experience number 3 was really where it was like, this is real. And if you're choosing to go back, we expect you to start helping and working in this way. And that was the part where in that experience, it's unbelievable, but I literally remember being in that heavenly realm. I remember being told that my marriage would probably end in divorce, that I would have future trauma. And I remember saying, okay, yep, send me in. I'm going back. Right. And so I think that's why the human side of me, when I'm having really challenging times in life, I also want to be like everyone else and say, I would never have agreed to this, right? I would have never agreed to this. But here's the problem with that for me. I clearly remember in NDE number 3 saying, yeah, I'll go back. I know it's coming and I'll go back, right? So that was the one that really opened me up to doing this professionally and working with that. And I think that's really important for a lot of us. There is an empowerment that we are able to hold on to when we know that life is not randomly happening to us. We are not just being tossed around in the ocean, that there's a soul plan that our soul chose before we came here. We are not here accidentally. Your soul chose to come to planet Earth. And we start to realize that, yes, we have free will and we can make choices while we're here, but none of this is as random as we might want to think it is.
And isn't the brain a little bit like one of those weather radars, just broadcasting rays of light, searching the skies? If we just shut the brain off for a second, trust a little more, and even pay attention, doesn't everything sort of fall into place much quicker?
Yeah, it really does. And actually, our brain is wired to look for polarity, danger, good, bad, right, wrong, black, white, all of that, right? And if we actually step out of our brain and step into our heart energy tends to be very non-judgmental. And it's just like, trust, this is coming, this will work out. And so really, when we are going to make big decisions, yes, it's good to be logical and say, hey, maybe I shouldn't go to Vegas and gamble the house this weekend, right? That's logic. But if we're saying, should I make that move? Should I take the new job? Should I follow the new career path? Those are also questions for your heart. Do not ignore that center of intelligence.
Okay, are you ready for the quick carousel? We'll do a little sage. I'll probably put a Tibetan crystal quartz up for you to feel, and then some angels you've already met. They'll either remind you of some topics you can talk about or directly give you something to relay. It'll be up to you. And angels, I have no idea. But this is the staple that we do. Oh, thank God I've got a lighter. Okay. I've got sage, a red-tailed hawk feather. I do this on every show. People at home, hey, it's 2028. By now, you should be hitting the subscribe, like, share buttons, and put a few comments in on what you've been enjoying about Michelle. Be sure to check out Michelle Clare, CLARE.net. The details will be below the video. Okay, leave your eyes on the sage, but you might as well ask the universe like you would for any other time you set your intent, before you go for a run, before you go on a date, whatever. Ask the universe to make it nice. Angels, get me out of my head into my heart. Catch some sage smoke. And then why settle for ho-hum linear? Not that sage isn't amazing, but get some flowers, get some ocean as well if you want to go bold and a trifecta, speaking of Vegas. Okay, Michelle, you're already getting the sage in Arizona. I'm in Texas. This is not possible. It's 2 screens, it's physical, or is time space a little bigger than we know?
Or is it big at all, or is it all right here, right now?
Yeah, there we go. And that's like that song from the 90s, right here, right now. Okay, you're getting the sage. Are you getting any flowers, any ocean, anything else?
A sweet smell too.
You're crazy. And I'm crazy. Okay, that's old school. All right, I'll put up Joy next. She's probably already jumping into the picture. You're already hearing her since we've done this a bunch. By the way, I've got to say, I have the highest regard. I've still got my English. Highest regard for Michelle. I think she's just phenomenal, and I mean that in every sense. So I love her energy, and I love what she does for folks. And the bigger the crowd, the better it is for her as time goes by. Here's Joy, the very first angel people meet, ambassador communicator. She's the emotion Joy. Duh, there it is. And she's really cosmic. She's in the fabric of everything. So it's whenever you do your happy dance, go to the concert, all the good news you've ever experienced, you're experiencing her. Okay, what are you getting from Joy? And you might get an extra smell, a touch on the shoulder, or something special if you'll allow for that as well.
Yeah, it's really about eyes on the future.
How so?
Because I think sometimes we get so busy holding on to our past that we forget to look in the direction that we're headed. And that past, although it has challenges, it's also already behind us. And we're not really wanting to spend a lot more energy there. It's like face forward, let's go.
Ooh, so it's a little bit like surfing, where you kind of point and look is where you go. Okay. Charlotte, everybody's favorite school teacher from childhood, with words meant to help you expand. And Angel, people can put their hand up at home and feel through 2 screens some sort of vibe. Try too hard, it'll be sparkle on your toes. Michelle, what are you getting from Charlotte?
For her, it's really about faith and trust. So, and also, can I just say, these messages don't feel like they're just for me. They actually feel like they're broad messages for your whole audience. But really, like, she was showing me when you said sparkle, she was like, light, light, faith, trust. Everyone needs to really believe in their own light and their ability to handle the situations that they're navigating with their own faith, right? And so whether that is religious, spiritual, or just maybe faith in yourself, that I know I can do this. I've had challenges before, but really step into that light that you are.
So everybody's got a really big heart, bigger than they realize, grasp, or think, and that's because it's not about grasping or thinking. Okay, Min, guardian angel for me, but I had a doctor the other day who's a guest on the show. That's her guardian angel too. And she's light waves of energy and water. Just call her Min, soft-spoken professor, angel. What are you getting from Min?
Say yes to adventure.
Okay, do you have a favorite you want to request? How about 4 archangels? Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel?
Sure.
Okay. What are you getting from them? And if you'll allow for a little bit of sparkle in the room, people at home, if you have to close your eyes, see it on your eyelids, like those 1950s drive-in theater things for the cars. Or if you're really bold and bodacious, let sparkles show up all around the room, Disney CGI.
I'm just getting the word heavenly guidance, heavenly guidance. So we're all being guided by divine powers.
Okay, last figure for you, or chef's choice. I'll pick the tiger behind door number B, but do you have a door A, or do you want me to do the tiger for you?
Let's do the tiger.
Okay. I might have one more angel now that I said that. It'll be Carol, who's real estate knowledge, and I always call her a librarian. She's the Akashic Records, one of the 2 angels I know about that. Here's the tiger, and give me 2 more seconds. 3 more seconds. The tiger's action from India, super cool. On everyone's team, if you want to start smelling the highest vibration of jungle from India or incense in a sort of sacred way, catch it in the air for no reason whatsoever. Are you already getting the incense? Oh, you're crazy. This is awesome. Okay, tiger's absolutely a beautiful ally. Soft shampooed fur if you want to put your hand out into the room and feel the tiger walk by. Close your eyes on that one if you need to. Breathe extra, let those shoulders heave and ho. Okay, what are you getting from the tiger about action or whatever in life that we all need to remember?
Yeah, well, it's that we all have a tiger within us. So sometimes, depending on the situation, we need to channel our inner tiger.
Okay, a tiger in the tank, just to mention that commercial, I think it was Exxon or Esso, whatever. Maybe it was a European thing, I don't know. But half those car commercials, take out BMW, Mercedes, and put in like compassion, love, kindness, or your soul, and the commercials make even more sense. That's why they sell so many cars. Okay, what's this all about? One more time, we're all doing this rinse, repeat. The rat race is up here, we're spinning, we do more thinking than we ever realized. We don't even know. When we think we're pulling back out of the brain's actually probably convinced us that we're in the heart. And oftentimes, we're not. What's this all about kind of up here, down here? What do we do about all this?
Yeah, well, it's really about literally taking your hands, putting them on your heart, because now your body is saying, oh, here's the energy, here's the pressure, here's the warmth, the heat, right? So we are literally taking our attention, tuning it into our heart. And now it's time to ask your questions. Okay, hearts, what do I need to do with fill in the blank situation? Now, I want you to see your consciousness dropping into your heart energy too. So you're not going to be up here judging like, oh, well, that was a bad idea, heart. That's how you know it's your brain, because your heart's not ping-ponging it like your left and right side of your brain are. Your heart is saying, oh, the truth for you in this situation is this. And so really start, maybe you want to ask once or twice, but really settle into that energy where the truth for your soul resides.
Okay, and one last pep talk about letting go. It's that easy. It's a leap of faith. It feels like it's Mount Kilimanjaro, K2, one of those big Himalayan mountains to take that chance to go here. And we put it off for decades, don't we? Sometimes years, delay. It's safer.
Yeah. Letting go is never easy for most people unless you're holding a match that's burning you, right? Then you're like, oh, drop it, right?
Yeah.
So it's really about noticing what are we holding on to, and is it kind of a self-defeating habit that we're holding on to something, that is not serving our highest good. So yes, letting go is not easy, but one of the easiest tricks to letting go is to put your attention on something else. So instead of holding onto that past, you're looking to your future. Instead of, staying in a job that you feel stuck at, you look for a job that feels like it has freedom, right? So that's the easiest way to start letting go, is to shift your attention and your focus.
Okay, I'm going to give 3 or 4 quotes about ego, whether we call it psyche, intellect, resistance, fear, thinking, whatever, judgment. Can you talk to us about ego in 1 second? Here are the 3 quotes. Compassion is ego is a temporary lack of compassion. Ego is blocking love. Mary said that one. Archangel Michael said, ego is getting lost in thoughts regarding tasks, goals, and perceived accomplishments. And finally, ego isn't your destiny. Why allow it to take control? What's your reaction to all that? Or can you talk to us about, again, another way to tackle this?
Yeah, well, let's just start from the basics. Your soul chose your ego. You were not accidentally assigned an ego. It didn't randomly stick to you as you were being born into this world. Your soul chose this ego to help cultivate the life that it wants. So very often we look at ego as like bad, bad, bad. No, we actually want to have a healthy relationship with our ego. It's not about being cocky and arrogant or keeping ourselves small. It's about being confident. It's about taking the next step. An ego that is healthy is actually very productive in this earth plane, and it wasn't accidentally assigned to us. So yes, I see egos in 2 ways with my clients. They're either, rarely do I see these people, but very cocky and almost, an offensive type energy with it, right? But more commonly, I see people who feel small, who feel unseen, who feel belittled, who stay in relationships or jobs or things that do not support their future growth. And to me, that's the ego keeping them small. So really, ideally, we really do want a healthy level of confidence. And that comes from the ego very often. I do think it's possible to also bring that into relationships and being loving. I don't think the ego blocks love. I think of it more like this: the ego is the wild horse that we need to tame. Right. And so it's not that you don't want to have an ego, because if you have no ego, well, you were already in spirit with no ego. You chose one to cultivate this human life. So it's not like it was a mistake. It's not a mistake, but it's like the wild horse. Do you want to ride that horse? Okay, then we need to tame it and train it so that it can be productive, not destructive.
Okay, going big picture here, we're wrapping up with a few more questions. Going big picture for the future of mankind, is more consciousness coming in? Did that shift that everybody talked about for a decade already happen, but now it's more about consciousness, allowing, awareness, stuff like that? Can you talk to us about your understanding of the big picture of man? And by the way, we're only giving you an eternal question here that we've wondered about for thousands of years.
Right, no big deal, right?
No big deal.
Here's the deal. We are still in the middle of a really big shift. And the next 6 years, maybe 10 or 12 years, are going to continue to present that. We are in uncharted territory as humans on planet Earth, with AI, with all of these many things that are starting to come together. So really what it is that what we're being asked to do is to continue to shine our light. We're not asking to worry about it or to fear it or whatever. We just need to know that, honestly, Michael, the time that you and I grew up on does not exist in this world anymore, and it's not coming back. So it's about adjusting and adapting to change and shining your lights. And really, that's how we're going to move through the changes that are coming. We're not at the end of this cycle. There are a lot of things that are going to be coming together and showing up over the next, let's say, 2 to 10 years.
Hey, I don't know about, from my growing up, Scooby-Doo, the Mystery Machine, and Bugs Bunny cartoons, I can still do the reruns, so I don't know.
Right.
Okay, looking forward for you, what would you like folks to know about where they can check you out, maybe one of your other guest appearances somewhere, or a conference that's been televised, or tell us something about the book without revealing too much, or your website, a new offering, something that somebody can go click because they're like, oh my God, Michelle, powerhouse, fastest answers I've ever seen in the most efficient, productive way. So a real stellar expert and very connected, almost like mafia level spirituality. Let's have you share something where people can go dig into, hey, I want more Michelle Clare. I want what she's having.
Yeah, I mean, okay, you can go to my website, michelleclare.net. You'll find out about my upcoming events online and in person. You can go to my YouTube channel and watch all of these amazing podcast videos that I've been on. And each one of them kind of approaches life differently with a different angle. So it's not always the same story, the same story. It's like this today where we're having amazing conversations that help us body, mind, and spirit, and also help us to navigate life better.
Okay, are you ready for something different? We're talking like 5 minutes or less for just interactive experiences. This you might have done before, but maybe not. I've got a regular Bic lighter. You'll just see a normal flame. Anybody at home can just yell white, gold, yellow at the screen. No one's hearing you. You're at home. But now I'm going to shut it off. Ask angels to make something extra for light around the light that you know is not a normal Bic lighter. So if you're in New Zealand, you can do this. If you're in Germany, you can do this. If it's 2028, you can do this. But it's about setting your intent. Can you pep talk the people at home watching in 2027 in China and Europe about how do they just get from here to here to allow for a little bit of angel light or other loving guides? Your ancestors might want to get in there with the help of angels to add something. What do we do to let go and allow for a little extra light?
Well, this is the situation where you don't overthink it and you just take it for what it is.
I love it. And I'll do one dad joke for everybody because if you're laughing, you're letting go. And it's Bert and Ernie Sesame Street. Bert offers Ernie ice cream. What's Ernie say? Sure, Bert. Okay, here we go. Allow for a little bit extra light. It could be pink, it could be blue, it could be purple, but you know it doesn't belong to a Bic lighter. Michelle, what are you getting in Arizona?
Oh gosh, I was just seeing a bunch of stars. It was almost like the cosmos or the universe.
Okay, good enough. And thank you for doing that. Tibetan crystal quartz, a piece of it with I think it's tourmaline in there. Everything has consciousness to it. You'll have a better way to say all that. Let me get my fingers out of the way. Let it communicate with you just a few words, or it's got a different vibe or something. I don't know how to say it. Saying something to you that you can share with us. What are you getting from this piece of Tibetan?
It's saying go deeper. So go deeper. If you are having the reoccurring pattern in your life or the same problem keeps showing up, go deeper, go to the root of that to really figure out what that is so that you can stop that pattern and move on to your next adventure.
Beautiful. Okay. How can people get out in nature in a surefire way or just take 5 minutes in the middle of a busy day to just, we'll call it centering, connecting, and then how can they listen for that little quiet voice? They'll think it's their own, but if they really let go, you fill in the rest.
Yeah. So, I mean, take 5 minutes on your lunch break, take 5 minutes in between phone calls, walk outside, stand in the sun. I even do that in Phoenix when it's 118 in the summer. I give myself that 5 minutes a few times a day in between clients, right? Because what I'm doing is I'm grounding, clearing my energy, reconnecting to the earth, to being here now, being present in this moment. And then with that, I want to say, give yourself just a blank space in your head and see what comes to you. Very often when spirit speaks to us, like you said, Michael, it's in our voice. So you're not hearing your archangels like thundering through your head. No, it's coming in your voice. But that is the part of the divine that's always talking to all of us. We just often fail to recognize it.
Okay, quick multiple choice, or it could be, E, all the above. What's the fastest way you clear after a session or after you've been at a mall, or you just feel like, whoa, those aren't my thoughts? Lighting a candle, incense, a prayer, a request, sacred request. How do you describe it? And can you give us at least two that you love to use? Is it a shower, the pool, whatever?
Yeah, well, we can make it as complicated or as easy as we want. So I never have time to go shower in between clients, but I usually use a prayer, just like clearing my energy field now. The other thing is we could make it really simple. Every time I wash my hands, I'm clearing energy that's not mine, because that's something you can do pretty quickly, right? So make it fit your lifestyle, but clear the energy that's not yours.
Okay, what can people look forward to in your book that's coming out perhaps most likely in 2025?
Yeah. So with that, it's really my life story. It talks about my near-death experiences, the way that I was raised, the lessons I've learned on the other side, lessons about how I could have navigated life easier had I known then what I know now.
I love it. Okay, anything else that folks need to remember, or can you give us like an Indian guru mantra? And if they say it with you or they say it just in their own nighttime before bed, what's the number one mantra that you would give people or suggest that's a surefire way to sort of, again, center and connect?
Be here now.
All right, Michelle Clare coming to us from Gilbert, Arizona. I love it. Love the energy, and I love we'll make up a word here, verb. Yeah, fiery
Sure.
energy. Thank you so much for being on Angels, Positivity, and Love. It's always a treat.
Thank you, Michael. I really enjoyed our time together.